the Solo Coach Podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're listening, and welcome to the Solo Coach Podcast. This week, I'm really excited to be sharing with you my top 9 most influential books. This one's been quite a difficult episode to put together, as it's an idea that I've had for some time, but I've struggled for 2 main reasons. First reason is that there are so many books that I've read, so many books that I've loved, that have been truly profound, impactful, powerful, and just what I've needed to read just when I've needed to read it, or just what I've needed to hear just when I've needed to hear it. And leading on from that, I don't necessarily believe that it's for me to recommend books to you. So I've moved away from recommending books to my clients and to friends, as I'm a great believer that the right book will find you at the right time. So not in a, you'll hear a knock at the door and you'll open the door and a book will be on the floor kind of way. I more mean, if you're at a point in your life where you do want to make a change, or you're interested in something and you've been noticing a book, you've heard people talking about it, you've maybe seen an Amazon advert or World of Books advert, eBay advert for a book, it keeps popping up on your Audible, and you're starting to think, oh, that book just keeps coming to me, like the title of it, people keep mentioning it to me, and then I've walked past a bookshop, seen it in the window. Sometimes you might feel like there's a book that's calling out your name, or a topic, or a podcast. It's calling out your name, it's got your name on it, and that might be the book for you that you need to read or listen to, or the podcast, for example, at this time right now. So I'm a huge believer in listening to those quiet little messages that come to you, whether it's through other people or whilst you're walking down the road, or some adverts that keep popping up on your phone or on your laptop, etc. So that my recommendation would be to read the book that feels right for you when it feels the right time, or listen to it as an audio book. That can be super powerful as well. I know quite a few people who drive to work listening to audiobooks, go for a walk at lunchtime, and it's amazing how quickly you can get through a whole book. So I have no preference on whether you read a physical book, Kindle, listen to it, or just have a quick flick through. No preference. Read it from the end back to the beginning if you like. But for me, reading's been really powerful, and through doing lots of reading, particularly over the last 7 or so years, it's helped me improve my vocabulary. I've learnt lots of words that I didn't know. It's helped me improve my reading and my writing speed, and also I've really enjoyed it. I get really captivated by a good book. Not every book reaches out and grabs me, but some books I can't put them down, and I am just absorbed by them. I'm sure you know the feeling. It's like the book equivalent of a great Netflix or Amazon Prime series or Disney Plus series. No affiliation to any of the above. And you just, you're addicted to it, can't put it down, and can't wait to find out what happens next. And the following 9 books I'm going to talk to you about, that has definitely been the case for all of them. And I think the reason I've chosen these books, again, 2 reasons. The book was really powerful, and the time in my life that I read the book was as powerful, if not even more powerful, because it was just what I needed to read right when I needed to read it and learn it and understand it. And I managed to put this list together. Full disclosure, I've been thinking about it for some time. Books have been coming onto the list, dropping off the list, back on the list again. I think I could have genuinely written a list of 50 books and talked about 50 books and talked your ear off today, bored you to tears, sent you to sleep. But I literally, this week, one morning at 3 a.m, I couldn't sleep. I woke up, grabbed my notepad and went into the other room, put the lights on, and just wrote a list of 9 books. Shut the notepad, went back to bed, and suddenly I could sleep again. So on that note, the most powerful book in my life, what I would recommend more than anything, is keeping a notepad next to the bed and writing in it, whether you want to write in it every day or just when you're inclined to write in it. Because for me, journaling and writing down feelings and thoughts and getting them out of my mind, off my chest, down on paper in my own scrawly, ugly handwriting, sometimes really difficult to read back, has been really powerful, really cathartic, therapeutic experience. So I say the one book for me that's better than any other book on the planet is my notebook. Again, no preference on how you do that. Digital, on paper, A3, A4, A5, A6, lined, no lines. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's just having that emotional outlet as a piece of paper. So, on that note, here goes my list of 9 books that I came up with at 3 a.m. one night this week. So, let's get us started with no delay. The first one, my top book, which was always number 1 on this list, has never shifted from number 1. That's right where it's going to stay, probably and possibly forever, is, drumroll please, Dale Carnegie's classic How to Win Friends and Influence People. It is a lovely red book. Haven't got it to hand. Gave it away a couple of years ago for someone else to read. I'm a huge believer in have a book, read it, love it, give it away, let someone else enjoy it. At some point I will give these books away as well and replace them with others that I have yet to read. The point is, I love this book so much as it's a book about communication, and it is, I think, written in the 1930s it was, and it's tried and tested, and it's full of wisdom that stands the test of time. It's beautiful to read, as Dale Carnegie writes it in sort of a classic English, talks about, he has these dialogues of someone having a conversation with, I think, like a coach builder that's building them a car when cars were all hand built. And it's all extremely polite and formal, and it's actually lovely to read. And the point is, it's not about the coach building the car. It's about the transactions that happen between the people. It's about the conversations. And what I'm going to share with you for each of these books are my top 3 takeaways. So off the top of my head for this book, number 1 was learn people's names and use them. Everyone's favourite sound is their name. It's so easy. It's such a quick win. When someone knows me, when they've met me once or twice and they remember me as David, they address me as David. Hi, David. Nice to meet you, David. Take care, David. I love it. It makes me feel fantastic. It polishes my ego and it warms my heart. It's such an easy win, and yet it's so easily forgotten. And I am a serial forgetter of names. I really struggle with remembering names. If I meet 10 people, go around the room and I'll maybe remember 1 or 2 of those names. And so I am actively working on getting better at this because it is so important. And there's nothing worse than someone forgetting your name or possibly calling you the wrong name. And going into Toastmasters recently, people I've seen 2 or 3 times. Some people, hiya David, nice to meet you, handshake, I feel all warm and gooey. Odd other people, they will talk to me and then say at the end, what's your name again? And my heart sinks a little bit. I feel a bit sad, I feel a bit small and easily forgotten and forgettable, and it hurts a little bit. Maybe this says more about me than you, but the point is, learning people's names, remembering them, using them, addressing them by their name, it is such a quick win. It will help you to win friends and influence people. It's a book, for me, that title is just like how to communicate. It's a modern interpretation of that title. The basics of communication, which I feel should be taught in schools. as I didn't know many of them when I read that book. The second one of my 3 takeaways is validate people's feelings. If someone's talking to you and they're coming from a different perspective, their beliefs are very different to yours, you actively disagree with them, you think they are wrong, it is really important and powerful to take the time and the effort to try to see where they're coming from and to acknowledge, I can see that you're really frustrated, for example. I see I hear what you're saying, and I understand that this is your belief. Thank you for sharing that with me. And then diving into it a little more, I'm curious, can you tell me more about this? Because I'm really struggling to understand it and see it from my perspective is very different to yours, but I want to understand your side of the debate, the disagreement, the argument first before I tell you my side, just to make sure that I'm clear on what you're saying and I want to know how you feel. It's along those lines of just taking that little bit of time to try and understand how that person's feeling. And the opposite of that is just dismissing them. No, you're wrong, I'm not interested, you're crazy, you're an idiot, you're a fool. Woe betide you. That is a recipe for losing friends and pissing people off. The opposite. And so many people do it all of the time. We see figures that are the leaders of the free world doing it to other leaders of countries on television. We see people doing it in the streets and on the bus and on the phone and just dismissing how the other person's feeling and ignoring it and glossing over it and insisting that they are right and the other person's wrong and not even attempting to see anything from their perspective. And it is such a terrible loss because it's so flipping easy to do it. You've not got to agree with that person, you've not got to collude with them. It's just a case of just taking a second to make sure that you've understood what they're saying and how they're feeling and letting them know, here's the important thing, letting them know that you can see or at least understand part of what they are saying and where they're coming from, and you acknowledge where they're coming from, and then it's your turn to talk about how you feel instead and what you feel would be, is correct, and how you might find that you might feel that they're wrong in some way. Whatever you choose. Validating people's feeling. Validate. If you learn the name, remember their name, validate their feelings, you won't go far wrong. And the third key takeaway to add to that is be genuinely interested in people. Because to be a really interesting person yourself, to be the most interesting person in the room, one way you can do that is be the most interested person in the room. Be interested in people and listen to them, and even if they are a complete and utter bore that loves collecting model trains, for example, it's not something I do, nothing wrong with model trains, but if it's something that you're not interested in, maybe they like to spot wheelie bins, they're a wheelie bin spotter and they like travelling around the country spotting wheelie bins. It would be easy to say, that's boring, that's stupid, that's crap, you're a fool, you're an idiot. You might think that. Nothing wrong with spotting wheelie bins, by the way, if that's what you choose to do. The point is, it's not that hard to just pay some interest in people. Just take the time to ask them a little bit more about their hobby. That's interesting, spotting wheelie bins. I don't know anyone else who does that. How did you get into that? How long have you been doing that? What appeals to you about that? What's the difference between one wheelie bin and another? Are there other people that you know that do that? Or is it just you? Is it something you do at weekends, during evenings? Tell me about wheelie bin spotting, because I'm just interested. It's not something I want to do myself, but you talk to me about your hobby, and then I'll maybe tell you about me later if you're interested. You will connect with people, you will win more friends, you will influence people, people will like you more, people will find you more interesting, even if you've told them nothing, nada, about yourself, because people love talking about themselves. They absolutely do. Right, we're at 15 minutes and I've only got through one book. I need to speed this up. Let's get going, guys. Book number 2 of my 9 most influential books. You can tell I love this stuff. I'm getting really excited now. Book number 2, one of my absolute favourites. It's like the user manual of becoming successful. It is, drumroll please, The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. There it is. I'm deliberately not getting it out. I don't want to get involved with showing you book covers, and I haven't got them all, and I didn't want to let that stop me making this episode. You can look them up because some of them have been released several times. They've got lots of different colour front covers. But The Success Principles is superb. It is a book that Jack Canfield wrote. I think the way he wrote it, he read pretty much all of the self-help books at the time. He interviewed hundreds of extremely successful entrepreneurs and business people. He even interviewed people who were really unsuccessful and had had a terrible life. And one of the chapters is how to be unsuccessful. But it is, I think there's about 100 chapters in there. They're short fire, they're quick, they're actionable, they're relatable, they are understandable, they all include little stories and examples, and they give you a call to action at the end of every chapter as to how to put it into action. This is not a novel, this is not War and Peace, it is not Romeo and Juliet. It is actionable, usable, tried and tested, thoroughly researched, practicable, super valuable, concise, like an espresso of a self-help book. You get that book, you won't be able to put it down. Guarantee it. I should work for this book publishing company. I could sell this book all day long. My 3 key takeaways. Number 1, act as if. Act as if you've got the thing that you've already got the thing that you want. So what do I mean by this? Walk around the car park making Lamborghini noises, pretending you're in a Lamborghini. No, don't do that. Meet me in the middle here. When I was an IT apprentice, I went down Debenhams with my grandma, bless her cotton socks, bought full suits, Debenhams, Clark's shoes. I looked dapper, I looked fantastic. Even my own grandma said, why are we getting you such nice high quality shirts to work as an apprentice, crawling around under desks, pulling cables in a school? The point was, don't dress for the job you've got, dress for the job you want. Present yourself like you're the manager. One of the companies I worked in later in my career, some of the managers used to come in hoodies and trainers, looking scruffy, cheap knackered bag hanging off their arm. I'd come in a suit, tie on, buttoned up to the top, dressed up to the nines, nice shoes, because I was trying to be flash and show off and look like the best. No, not at all. I was dressing for the job I wanted. I wanted to be an IT manager. I wanted to be a leader. I love working with people. I love developing them. For a long time, I wanted to be a manager and I wanted to stand at the forefront, because the people I look up to most in my career and in my life are the people who are fantastic speakers and who are fantastic leaders, who really care about their teams. They really care about the people who work for them, and they really care that the organisation that employs them gets their business outcomes and gets them right and achieves what they want at the end of the year, and that their team get all the praise and acknowledgement that they deserve for doing what they did. I'm going to stop short of naming names, but there's several managers I had who were fantastic at this. They know who they are. Hopefully they're listening. If they are, shout out to you. You are an inspiration. The point is, act as if. Act as if you've got the thing that you've already got. If you want to find more about that principle and how to put it into action, Jack Canfield, The Success Principles. Second takeaway, one of the first chapters, I think it's the first chapter, is take total and complete full responsibility for your life. Your life is the way it is because of you. The only person who can change your life and will change your life is you. time to forget about blaming on politicians. Forget about blaming it on your upbringing. Forget about blaming it on your spouse, your partner, your finances, your job, your manager, your boss, your colleagues, your car. Forget it. Right now, draw a line. Take responsibility. Your life is where you are right now because of you. And the only person who has the ability and the agency and the power to change all of that is you. And it starts with you and it ends with you. By taking responsibility, by forgetting the word blame, by dropping the word fault from your vocabulary. It's not my fault, it's his fault. It's their fault, it's the government, it's politics, it's the weather, it's the country I live in, it's my boss, it's my employer. No, screw it. F all of that. Lose that, drop it from your vocabulary, because when you start taking 100% responsibility for your life, you start standing up and showing up, standing tall and proudly on your own 2 feet and doing things your own way and not standing for any of that BS anymore and not just being one of the ain't it awful club. Like, your life will change. I guarantee it. No doubt at all. That's takeaway number 2. Take 100% responsibility for your life. Not 99, not 97, not 98, not 99.9, not 99.9 recurring. 100% responsibility for your life, and take it right now. Because no one else will. Honestly. Takeaway number 3. I'm getting really excited now from that book because I freaking love that book so much. You can manifest success. The power of visualization and affirmations, or incantations as Tony Robbins calls them. We'll come on to them in a minute. You can see it. If you can see it in your mind's eye, you can imagine it, then you can believe it. And if you can see it, and if you can believe it, you can become it. If you can visualize it every day, you imagine sitting there in your future house. It's beautiful, it's fantastic, you feel fantastic, you're there with your spouse, your partner, your family, old generations of the family, generations above you, generations below you, your children perhaps. You are there, you are so happy and fulfilled. You can imagine walking through your front door, you can visualize it now. The space as it opens up, the natural light, the colours. You go out into your garden, you fling the doors open, the dog's there running, catching a frisbee, your daughter or son chucking it across the grass. The point is, it's fantastic. And if you can just visualise that every single day, if you can make yourself a vision board, mine's in the other room, and you can put some pictures on that they're representative of the future that you want, the life that you want for yourself, you will attract it. You can draw it to yourself. There's something I'm going to come on to in the next book. In fact, let's move on to that now. The next book is Awaken the Giant Within by the father of personal development, Tony Robbins. That's another one of his books. Haven't read that one yet. This was his first, I believe, an original book from the late 80s, early 90s. Really old book again, but timeless wisdom. It's overflowing with value. The point is, takeaway number 1, he talks about the RAS, the reticular activating system, which means you see more of what you focus on. If I tell you, close your eyes now, close your eyes. When you open your eyes, for 10 seconds, scan the room for everything that's green, everything that's green. Go. 10 seconds, green. How many things can you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Close your eyes. That's it. I counted 10. Okay, with your eyes closed, how many red items did you count? How many red things did you see with your eyes still closed? I saw none. I know there are red things in here, I can imagine them, but I saw none because I was looking for green. Now, open your eyes again. Quick, scan the room, 10 seconds, red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, close your eyes. I'm going to go for 11 for me, with my eyes closed. 11 red things, because my red guitars, Candy Red Stratocaster red guitars down there. With your eyes closed, how many red things do you see? I saw 11. right? And don't do this activity if you're driving your car. Let me just caveat that. I'm going to open my eyes now. How many things that you saw, be honest, when I asked you to look for green things when I asked you to look for red things the second time, were maybe a little bit pink, maybe a little bit brown, but you counted them as red because you wanted to get a higher number? Me too. I counted 11 things. I know for a fact I counted that, which is a pink book. I know for a fact that I counted some stuff over here, which is brown. And I counted 2 cars outside, even though it was an activity about what's in the room. You will see more of what you look for and what you focus on. If you look for hardship, if you look for strife, struggle, hatred, pain, suffering, you'll see it everywhere you go. We all know that person. They're always looking for what's bad and wrong in the world. You will see more of it, guys, if you look for it. Honestly, folks, I stopped watching the news a long time ago during the pandemic because I realised that if I keep watching the news, if I look for reasons to feel sad, anxious, fearful, scared about my life and the future, look for reasons to never have a family, look for reasons to never invest my money, look for reasons to never change career, to never put my head above the parapet and just stay small forever and be miserable and scared of the world and put 8 locks on the door like Mr. Bean and lock it up like, you see what I'm saying? It's what you see more, what you choose to focus on, you will see more of. And it's the principle, the last example I give is when you buy a car, you think we bought an old Honda Civic. And it's a 90s Honda Civic, and it's a great example because how many 90s Honda Civics do you see these days? None, right? They are rare. They are like hen's teeth. We have a classic. We're the only 90s Honda Civic in Leeds. Wrong. We bought the car. Within 5 minutes, one came up behind us and flashed us and waved. Like, they're everywhere. They're all over the place. I see one probably every week. I see another 90s Civic with a varying amount of rust onto ours, but it's there. It's probably a little bit rusty and it's a different colour. Some are toothpaste coloured, some are brown and red like ours. The point is, you don't see something that you're not looking for, but when you're looking for them, when they come into your awareness, then you see more of them. If you look for good stuff, if you look for people that are working in business, if you want to go into business that are successful, if you want to change career, look for examples of people that are successful and have changed careers and have done the thing you want to do, you will find them. If you look for examples of people that have failed, people who are broke, people who are homeless, and people who are having a terrible life, my heart goes out to them. This is not a criticism of them. It's just an example. If you look for people who are really struggling, really having a hard life, you'll find them and you'll see them everywhere. And it will reaffirm your belief. It's this confirmation bias thing with social media. If you're one-sided politically, your social media will lead you to believe that everyone else is, because it will reaffirm, it will confirm your belief. If you are the other side, it will lead you to believe that everyone else is. It will reaffirm and confirm your belief so much that 2 different people cannot possibly imagine that anyone in the world sees things differently to them, because everything they see, hear, talk about and are drawn to reaffirms and confirms their belief that they are politically correct. Right? So RAS, Reticular Activated System, really powerful. Awaken the Giant Within is the book. Definitely recommend that. There's more in there about it and how you can use it to your advantage. He also talks about reprogramming your mind with an introduction to NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. What the heck is that? Tony Robbins tells you all about it. It's the principle of taking, for example, an old painful memory that's traumatic, that's really uncomfortable, and it takes you back to imagining having no money as a child, say, and every penny counting, and money being dreadful, and arguments happening when you were young with your parents, say, for example, just for the sake of example, and he teaches you how to replay that video vividly in your mind and then scramble it. Turn it upside down, put cartoon music to it, change all the characters so everyone's dancing around, scramble it. And the idea is, repeatedly doing this, it can help you to reduce the power that these thoughts and memories and this upset has over you and replace it instead with more positive, more realistic, more future focused content. It's like cleaning out kind of the defragmenting your mind, or like having a spring clean of your mind. It's really powerful. And he adds to that the power of incantations, which are saying things that are really powerful statements. I'm not going to give an example because I haven't got one to mind. It's a powerful statement about you and who you are, and what your intention is, and stating it before you go in and go for a job interview, or go on stage and give a presentation, or even just start your day at work. You could give these incantations in the mirror while you're brushing your teeth in the bathroom in the morning. Super, super powerful. It's a fabulous book. Finally, third key takeaway from Awaken the Giant Within is massive action is the cure-all. This is Tony Robbins' go-to line. The point is, from Tony Robbins, what he's trying to say is, if you're stuck, if you're unhappy, if you're fed up, if you're miserable, if you feel something's missing, take action and do it now. Do something. Do something. Start. Just start. Make a change. Because as Einstein famously says, and I always quote this, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result. If it ain't working, change it. If you want to change your results, change your input. Because input remains the same, output will remain the same. Change your input, your output will be different. Might not work first time, might not be the result you want, but heck, by getting a different result, at least things have changed, and then you can keep changing that action, keep changing it and tweaking it until you get a better outcome. Let's keep moving with book number 4. First 3 books, I'd say, with How to Win Friends and Influence People, The Success Principles, and Awaken the Giant Within, were self-help type books. This book is a practical, no-nonsense guide for people who want to change jobs and change careers. It is called What Colour is Your Parachute? I read it back in 2022/3, and it was in its 10th edition. It's been sold in vast, outrageous numbers all around the world and translated into countless languages. It is incredibly useful. I did recommend this to a client last week who does want to have a career change and just wants some more information and wants to do some reading and work outside of our coaching sessions. The reason I love it, 3 reasons. There's some brilliant stats at the beginning which give you permission to not feel like a failure because you want a job or career change. And they talk about the fact that on average these days, most people joining the world of work now, Generation Z I think they call them, are probably going to have 20 or 25 jobs roughly over 5 different careers. They're going to go through 5 career changes on average, because this is the world we live in. You know, the days of you go down, you get one job, maybe at the colliery or the mine or the police station, like my family did back in the day. You have that job for your whole life. Those days are gone. They don't exist anymore. That is a rarity, and by staying in one job too long, you just hold yourself back. I'd say for me, roughly 5 years was my shelf life in a job, and 11 years was my shelf life of a career. The last one anyway. Let's call it a dedicated decade, just over. Let's keep moving. So some great stats at the beginning, really insightful, really get you thinking. Then there's one of the best activities I've ever done. I've done countless coaching and personal development activities, guys. One of the best one is the flower diagram, which is bang in the middle of What Colour is Your Parachute. And it is a super diagram which helps you figure out what job, career, sector, geographically where you want it to be, how many hours you want to work, what salary you want. It asks such thought-provoking questions that are so insightful, so powerful. I guarantee you will step back when you've done that activity and go, oh my gosh, it's so clear. I now know what I want. I did that. I was curious as to whether the job I described existed, and about 3 months later after I did it, someone literally rang me when I was travelling and said, we've got this job for you here, how does it sound? And it was a carbon copy, ladies and gentlemen. It was a carbon copy of what I described in the What Colour is Your Parachute flower diagram. exercise. I think it's called the flower exercise. That's not a lie. That's completely truthful. Did I manifest it? Did I attract it? Did I create it? Who knows? Quite frankly, don't care. What I'm saying, it was really powerful for me. I'm sure it will be powerful for you as well. What colour is your parachute? Third key takeaway, it's loaded, it's overflowing with brilliant interview questions that you can ask and brilliant ideas and suggestions for how you can show up to your interview and hopefully nail the job. I've used it successfully with several friends and a couple of clients who were going for an interview and wanted particularly to know what questions to ask in an interview, and a couple of the examples from that book I've recommended to countless people, and they have all successfully got the jobs that they interviewed for. So I don't take that praise myself. I attribute those questions and that praise to what colour is your parachute. I've forgotten who the author is. Don't need it. That's why we have Google. Number 5, let's keep moving. Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. This is such a powerful book, guys. It's the basic principle is confidence doesn't follow success. You don't feel confident after you're really successful and you've got the car, the mansion, the boat, $1 million in the bank. It doesn't happen like that. Success follows confidence. By leaning into your discomfort, by facing your fears, by feeling the fear and doing it anyway, you will build strength, mental and physical resilience, you will build capital, you will build reputation, and you will build trust, and you will become more successful. By embodying the victim mindset and being oh, ain't it awful and woe betide me, you will stay stuck. By embodying the victor mindset and saying, despite everything that's happened to me, and in spite of the circumstances I've grown up in, where I live, what I'm doing for a living, the education I've got, in spite of all of that lot, I am going to succeed. Watch me, because these are the things that I've got. These are my characteristics, my values, my beliefs, and this is who I am, and I'm going to tap into the greatness within, and I'm going to show you all. And I'm going to make a success of myself and my life. That is the victor mindset, and that is what Susan Jeffers talks more about in the book, with loads of examples and just straight to the point, no nonsense, no BS, just powerful writing that will get you moving and will help you reframe how you consider fear and how you show up against fear and how fear affects you. And if you're someone who's maybe paralysed by fear of missing out, fear of a better option, analysis paralysis, indecision, all of that crap that I've been through in the past, still face occasionally now, as my partner will attest to, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers is the book you want. Number 6, let's keep this moving. The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. This guy is a hero to me. I love his books. He's got 2 of them. This is his best book. I love his podcast and I love his YouTube content as well. I take him with me everywhere I go, and as I say to my clients, I shower with him in the morning. Clarifying that by saying I always have his podcast on while I have a shower in the morning. It helps me wake up and just start my day right. So I am not showering with Ed Mylett. I'm just listening to his podcast. But I like to say that because it makes me laugh. It makes my clients laugh. And hopefully it made you laugh as well. His book, The Power of One More, it reinforces why I do what I do. The 3 key takeaways are Ed Mylett, he turned great adversity and a really, really hard, tough upbringing that was very traumatic with a very shockingly alcoholic father with unbelievable, unforgivable behaviour, really tough upbringing. He turned that adversity into his greatest strength. His test was his testimony, as he likes to say. It's such an inspirational story. It brings me almost to tears every time I hear it, despite the fact I've heard it so many times before. And Ed Mylett talks you through his life, what he's learnt on the way, the fact he's been through so many failures, he's built businesses, he's lost businesses, he's had his power and even his water cut off. been served notice of eviction. He's been made bankrupt, but he's learnt so much in the process, and he's now incredibly successful. And he's also honest and truthful and transparent about how he got there, and about the tremendous cost that comes with success, the cost of entry to success, and also how valuable and worth it is. They never said it would be easy. They did say it would be worth it. It's along those lines. It's brilliant. It is a superb book, and his podcast, The Ed Mylett Show, is unbelievable as well. Second key takeaway, it's about the one more philosophy and why it works. It's what he calls compound pounding, and he uses the example of the piñata, which is this paper mache horse full of candy. You keep whacking it and whacking it. All the kids get together at a party and beating this thing with a cricket bat, and the compound effect is what leads to little Johnny whacking it for the last time and all the candy falling out. It is not that his final whack was any stronger than anyone else's. It is the compound effect of hundreds and hundreds of whacks that finally lead to this piñata giving free and dropping its load of sweets and candy all over the floor. That's how life works. That's how success works. It doesn't all happen at once, and it takes loads and loads of action in the background. As they say, a true measure of a man or a lady is what they do when no one is looking. And the book encourages you to keep going despite adversity, in the face of adversity, and to never give in, and to just keep, consistency is key. And as Ed Mylett likes to say, the best ability is availability. The best ability is availability. Being there, being frequent, showing up, turning up again and again and again and again and again. And you will be successful. You just will. It's brilliant. Great book. Number 6, The Power of One More by Ed Mylett. Number 7, we're nearly there, guys. Stick with me. We've got this. Is Think and Grow Rich by Norman Vincent Peale. It's Ed Mylett's favourite book, and it is also one of my top books as well. It's another classic. It's similar to Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, but it is not about financial abundance. It is not just about becoming rich financially. It's about becoming rich in your mind, your head, your soul, your spirit, and richness in the heart. It's about cultivating mental strength and resilience. My 3 top takeaways are, number 1, the importance of listening to your desire, listening to your gut, and having faith in the face of adversity. Not necessarily religious faith. It's having that quiet belief that things will work out for the best. Having that belief in yourself, having that belief in the processes that you're following, and having the belief that things will work out for the best, and the importance of retaining that positive mental outlook. When it's so easy to get bogged down and become a skeptic and a critic, and to be critical and dubious and suspicious and untrusting, and to suspect the worst, and be a realist and realistic, and all of these things that people define themselves as. It's so easy to do that. So easy. But it's more difficult, and it's more valuable, and it's more important, I would argue, to remain positive and optimistic. Optimism grounded in reality is what my coach Russell talks about, and it's not living in cuckoo land and Pollyanna. It's not woo-woo. It's legitimately saying, no matter everything that I've been through, all the hardships I've been through, there's a golden thread. I always learn something. I learn from my mistakes. Failure is the cost of entry of success. I will make mistakes, I will do things badly, and I will encounter lots of hurdles and obstacles on the way. And none of those are any reason to give up, because there are so many examples of people out there who've done what I want to do. I can connect with them, I can spend time with them, I can learn from them, I can model them, I can grow. And the most important thing is not the destination of where I'm going. It's not about getting there. It's about how I grow and change in the process. Life is not about the destination, it's about the journey. Happiness is not a destination, it is a method of travel. Think and Grow Rich talks a lot about this. It's a fabulous book. Second takeaway, the importance of visualization and imagination in order to tap into that untapped potential of the mind. because, like I say, the mind doesn't know any difference between reality and what you've visualized and imagined. So you can trick yourself into behaving and acting as though you've already got the thing that you already want, and you can draw it to you by imagining it constantly, talking about it, thinking about it, daydreaming about it, literally dreaming about it, because it does work. It does work. There's a lot of people who don't agree with it, and who, critics and skeptics and things, but you can be a critic and a skeptic and live and die a critic and a skeptic, and what's the point? Or you can open your mind and your heart and your soul and embrace these ideas and try these concepts out for yourself, because there's so many examples of people who've done it. And from a practical sense, if you're someone who always focuses on what's missing and what's lacking and what's not there, you go into a room, you go to a business networking event, you meet people who focus on what's bad and what's wrong with the world, and people who blame everything and deflect everything. They are energy drainers, they are dull, they are disinteresting, people move away from them, they end up stood in the corner by themselves, and someone like me goes and stands and listens to them because I feel sorry for them. It's a shit way to be, guys. It really is. If you're someone who's an optimist, you're a glass half full kind of person, you focus on what's there to be gained, you're realistic, you're happy to say, to show some vulnerability and to talk about your weaknesses and what you've not got yet and what you're working on, but, wear your heart on your sleeve a little bit. But you are someone who makes the best of every day, and who sees the opportunity in every difficulty, and who strives to enjoy what they're doing at the same time as they're doing it, and is seeking this sense of alignment, and is on an exciting journey towards fulfillment and growth and success, then who wouldn't want to spend time with that person? I would. Who wouldn't want to move closer to them in a business networking event and find out more about them and their business? Because they exude this positive, interesting, enlightening kind of energy. They're a bit different. They're quite fun. They're quite cool. They're quite, they've got a warmness to them that draws you to them. From a practical sense, it just makes sense to be the person with the glass half full, who's having a go, who's doing it, and just finding out what it's like. I'm more interested in those people. I strive to be one of those people myself. Number 8, we're nearly there, 2 more to go. This book is a real moving book and a really hard read, and did emotionally impact me quite deeply. It's still possibly the single book that I've read in my life that's been the most emotionally impactful and profound. It's called The Choice by Edith Eger. Edith Eger is a Holocaust survivor. She was there with her family. They didn't get out. She was there as a child. She went through unspeakable hardships, and she went through what I would imagine is as close as a living hell as you could get to, if you believe in heaven and hell. The point is, she's just been through a horrific journey, and unthinkable things happen to her, and she opens up about some of it in this book. And despite being thrust into this situation that would destroy the hearts and minds of so many people, I feel it would me 1,000%. I can't even imagine what it would be like to be in the position she's been in. It's beyond words. So I hope I'm doing it justice by saying that it's a terrific read, and that my key takeaway from this one is whatever happens to us in life, whatever happens to us, no one can ever take away our ability to choose what we think and how we choose to feel. The choice can never be taken away from us. Everything else can be taken away from us and stripped of us, but not our agency, our ability to choose what we're going to feel, how we're going to feel, how we're going to behave, what we're going to say, and what we're going to do. It cannot be taken away from us. It's such a powerful read. It's so impactful. It's so emotionally triggering. It's an extremely difficult read, and it did bring me to tears. And took days to recover from reading it. I read the hardest bit of the book in one evening, and I was lost for words. I was sort of a little bit distant for a few days after, but that's all the more reason to read it or listen to it, because it gave me sort of the ability to pause. It forced me to pause and reflect, and I felt overflowing with gratitude after I'd processed it for the life that I've got, the family I've been born into, the country I've been born in, and the situation and the circumstances that I've lived my life. I think you got the picture. It also, second key takeaway is the importance of not comparing yourself and your trauma to the trauma of others. She talks about one lady who had a miscarriage, and that was one of her clients, and she was dealing with a lady who had a miscarriage. And then later she had a lady come in who was just as completely upset, because her pink Cadillac had arrived brand new from the showroom, been delivered, but it was the wrong shade of pink. It was the wrong colour. And she was highlighting the importance of not comparing the trauma of these two people, because it would be very easy to say, well, that's far worse than that. That's just a car. That's a life that's been lost. It's incomparable. Edith Eger's point is the way those two people, the way her two clients felt, how deeply upset and traumatised they were, was very similar. Not the same, but very similar. And it wasn't what the colour of the car was in at all, really. It was what it represented. It was the very final straw, the last nail in the coffin. It was what pushed that lady over the edge. And clearly she was living right on the edge for something as sort of, let's say, can't think of the word, something as minor as a car shade, the shade of your new Cadillac that's been delivered, if you've got the money to buy it, something as small and really not relevant in the grand scheme of life, for that to push her over the edge and have her completely in tears and hysterics, to be totally and utterly triggered and floods of tears. And Edith Eger describes beautifully in her book just how life is equally difficult for us all, and we've all been presented with a different hand of cards when we were born, in effect. And it's really important to acknowledge people, and just, you never know what someone's really going through, and to cut people a little bit of slack, and to be respectful and kind, and have an open mind and an open heart, regardless of how you perceive the situation, regardless of what's traumatised this person and whether you believe it is traumatic or not. The point is to have grace and forgiveness and exercise tolerance and kind of loving kindness to your fellow man or woman, or however other people identify. Number 8. Number 9, very last book here. We've reached the end, you'll be glad to hear. Really powerful read. I read it last year. It's called The Impossible Just Takes a Little Longer by someone called Art Berg. It's a terrific book. It is a miraculous story of survival against the odds. It's the power of the mind and the power of persistence in the face of tremendous adversity. It's the most inspiring book I've ever read, and it's packed with actionable wisdom and methods and actions that you can take from it. Art Berg himself, the author, is a quadriplegic who had lost complete control of his body, became fully paralysed other than very slight movements, and was told you'll never walk again, you'll never work again, you'll never have a family, and basically your life is pretty much over, and you're going to be living like you're going to occupy this body that you can't control effectively. So you're in a prison now. Your mind is fine, but the rest of your body is done for. Forget it. And don't ever imagine you're going to be in a manual wheelchair, because you're going to have to be in an electric one for life. He defied all of what the doctors said, and he went out. He not only became employed, he became a world-class world-class, internationally renowned public speaker, and he won an award from the NSA, the National Speaking Association, that only less than 10 people have ever been awarded with. It's like top speaker in the world, one of. Unfortunately, he's no longer alive now, but he did achieve that in the late 90s. And then he went and he did ultra marathons in a manual wheelchair, despite the fact he was a quadriplegic and he'd been paralysed, almost completely paralysed from the neck down, almost. And then he'd gone through incredibly painful, shockingly painful recovery process that took so very long, and against all the odds and being repeatedly told that you're wrong and you're a fool and you just you're what you believe is going to happen in your recovery, the reality will not be that. So you need to reduce your expectations and you need to play far smaller than you're planning. He ignored all of that, and he succeeded against possibly the greatest adversity anyone could ever have after he'd been in a horrific accident. And some of the treatment he received in hospital was also horrific, and he goes into great gory detail in the book about one particular thing called a halo brace screwed into his head, which is just unthinkable pain. The word pain doesn't even describe it. It's agonizing, unthinkably agonizing pain that he went through having this device fitted. And he was offered it, and he could have refused it, but he accepted it, and transpires that he probably could have recovered without it, but he chose to go through that. It's such a moving book. It's so inspiring, and for me it just gave me this other perspective and made me step back and just feel, again, tremendous sense of gratitude, overflowing gratitude for my life, and also an appreciation of if Art Berg can do what he did against all the odds, then I can definitely do what I want to do as well, and I believe you can. And we collectively, as humans, as people, and you individually, are far, far, far more capable than you believe you are. You really are. You have greatness within, and this book is an example of the greatness within one single gentleman. And he went on to have a family, be an international speaker, have a very successful business, do ultra marathons. He did everything that he was told he couldn't do. I like it because it's inspiring. And with 3 minutes before we reach the hour, just want to throw a bonus one in there, particularly for my friend Sean Deitch, who loves a bonus one at the end. The Alchemist. It's a tale. It's not a personal development book. It's not a self-help book. It's not a guide. It's not a manual. It is fiction. All of the other books are non-fiction, and this one is fiction. The Alchemist by, I believe it's Paulo Coelho. It's a tale of a boy on a journey. He goes to the desert, and his life is not clear. He doesn't know what he's heading for, doesn't know what obstacles he's going to encounter on the way. It's deep, it's meaningful, and it is very thought-provoking. It's very philosophical, and it is kind of food for thought and introspection, full of unexpected twists and turns. And it gives you another perspective of when things appear to be fortunate or unfortunate, maybe they are the opposite, and maybe everything in life is happening for a reason, or at least we can learn from it all. And sometimes little breadcrumbs appear in our life and we don't realise that they are giving us a message, or trying to equip us. When we have a challenge in life, it might be equipping us for something that's bigger and that's yet to come. It's just a real thought-provoking book, and me and I've passed it around my family, who have all read it, and we all love it and had great conversations. So I recommend reading this book and passing it round for the wonderful conversations that will come from reading it. But yeah, let's get finished. That's me, 10 books. I'll put some links in the bottom to the different books, the titles and the authors. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you again in a week or two's time. Bye for now.
The Solo Coach Podcast.